What's going on, Average Guys? Average Guys Podcast, legendary channel, featuring average guys like me and you trying to make better lives for ourselves and for the people we love. Man, they got Kyrie now, huh? All this boycott drama, man, it's crazy. It's not really boycott drama. I mean, I guess from our perspective, we would be boycotting if we decided to boycott the NBA or something like that, you know what I mean? Or we decided to boycott Nike, stop purchasing Adidas, you know what I'm saying, whatever. But what they're doing to these guys is honestly is blackmail, right? You see what they did to Kyrie. They're trying to tell him that he needs to donate X amount of dollars. I think it was something like $500,000 to some charitable organization to help the Jews or whatever the case may be. They had like a list of stipulations they wanted him to comply with before he joined back, or before he was allowed to perform again in the NBA. Man, that's some tomfoolery if I ever seen some, man. I don't even really know what to say about it. You know, you got a guy like that who didn't really have a stance on anything in particular. A lot of you guys made a good point. He says, you know, he was just saying, I'm just wanting you guys to go check out the documentary regarding the issues and the topics that he was discussing. And it's funny, as some of y'all mentioned, and I saw some memes about it too, that hey, they didn't blacklist Amazon for airing the documentary, right? What about the people that actually produced it? I don't know if it's an Amazon production. What about the crew? What about the cameraman that helped film it? See what I'm saying? But you go for the guy that tells folks to watch it. Silly shit, man. But see, and I'm not, it's funny, I don't even know what that's indicative of, right? I want to have an opinion about that, but I'm not sure what to think about it, man. Why would they go after the basketball player, but they would allow it to be put on a platform as public as Amazon? I'm not sure. See, we're getting into conspiracy theories, guys. I'm just shooting the breeze tonight, man. It's on my mind. I'm wondering. And the whole Kanye thing, right? They did the same to him. I mean, we watch it happen over and over again. A lot of you guys, it's funny, because y'all are shocked. A lot of guys are shocked that, what's his name? Oh, God, he was on Teen Titans Go, dribble. Y'all know, next, Michael Jordan. What's the guy's name? 23. I can't think of his name right now for some reason. But anyway, him and Shaq and LeBron James, that's who I'm thinking about. LeBron James, Shaquille O'Neal, you know, they take sides with, you know, they're going to sit on the fence about it. They're not really going to aid him. And y'all are wondering, you know, kind of why. But it's like, bro, did y'all saw what happened with Kaepernick? Nobody stood beside him for real. The NFL blacklisted the guy. Nobody would hire him. He couldn't find work. I mean, you know what I'm saying? I mean, you see where it's at. You know, me and my wife were having a conversation earlier about it. And I was saying how, you know, what about Michael Jordan? You know what I'm saying? Somebody like Jordan, would he stand up for it or anything like that? Absolutely not. You know, we were just snowballing it. We know better. You know, Jordan's going to side with the money. You know, and he's not going to take a stance with any moral basis. His stance is going to be monetary. So, you know, whoever's paying him, that's where he's going. It's funny because I don't even think Jordan's not going to say yay or nay. He's not going to be here or there regarding the issue because, hey, Jordan's already made his billions. Jordan's already well into his financial stability, right? So he's not gonna say anything in regard to this topic. I feel like the guys that are still playing the game right now, even guys like Shaquille O'Neal, I'm not sure why he would have spoken on it, but the guys that at least are the ones that are in the NBA, you know, that are up and coming, or they've been in there for a little bit of time and they want to gain better endorsements, more profitable, gain access to more profitable ventures. Some of these guys are gonna, you know, some of these guys might side with the money. So I mean, you know, I don't really see, you know, I mean, my hats off to these guys for speaking the truth, speaking what they believe to be real. I have no opinion on whether or not black people are Jewish in any regard. I'm not sure about that. I've heard it over the years, but I've not really found any evidence to support those claims. Not saying that they're not true. I just can't support them. I have no factual basis to support, no evidence to support these claims. So whatever these guys are saying, I mean, you have to do your research on your own. I can't really speak on it. I guess we all do come from the same region, but black people were scattered throughout Africa. It seems like the wealthiest nations during the time I'm talking about, I guess we're going back to the biblical days, would have been Egypt, and then, you had the West Africans, which I believe were the ones that were more heavily involved with being property sold in the transatlantic slave trade. I mean, I'm not a historian. I didn't study this. This is not my forte. But if I had to, do the best I could to recall everything I did learn, I believe it was the East Africans. You know what I'm saying? And the more impoverished people, or excuse me, well, I guess you would say the more primitive cultures, right? The ones that didn't have the technology to either defend themselves or the money or the power or the status or the military or whatever, the numbers to defend themselves during that time. But to say that we were Jews, I don't know. I just remember seeing a lot of black and white footage for the Holocaust and things like that when we were coming up in school, and I didn't see any black folks in these black and white films. I didn't see any black folks in them. I don't know if they have video cameras. I have to do some research on that, whether or not they had video cameras back in the day during the time of the Holocaust, and whether they could actually have recorded, maybe in black and white, some of the events. I believe World War II they did have. Yeah, they did. They recorded things. But yeah, I don't recall seeing a whole lot of black people, involved in if any, involved in concentration camps. Of course, you're gonna hear stories where there's one or two of us that made our way through any historical. I mean, I've heard that there were black samurai. A few of us, maybe a handful. I don't know. But I mean, at some point, black people would have made their way into other cultures. You know what I'm saying? Especially as we were heavily traded during the transatlantic slave trade. So, anyway, that's my 2 cents on it. I'm not sure where it's going. I'm not sure what's gonna happen. You probably won't see very many people stand up against it. That's just how it is. Free speech is out the window. You pretty much can't say anything nowadays. You say something against women, you're misogynist, a bigot, and all kind of other stuff. You talk about somebody's body shaming. You talk about somebody's sexuality, you're trans or homophobic. You guys know where this is going. All this censorship and what have you. And honestly, I'm not for it. I speak on this in my podcast, and I say to guys, man, I'm like, hey, it's really up to us. We're leading the future generations, fellas. And ladies who are married to solid men, right? We're leading the generations into the future, and we're gonna have to conduct ourselves a little bit differently than these whatever the narrative is, the prevailing narrative is as far as how people are interacting with each other at this time. We gotta do a little bit better than that. It seems our culture has become extremely weak-minded, extremely sensitive about different issues. Okay, a case in point, right? People were saying white lives matter in regard to the Black Lives Matter situation, right? Now, on the front end of that, when Black Lives Matter first was spoken, the words were first uttered. I'm not sure who spoke them first, but the words themselves mean something, right? And then it became an organization. It started getting funding, gaining traction in the media, and so on and so forth. And the slogan "Black Lives Matter" became tightly associated with the actual organization instead of the words and what they actually mean. And then you had White Lives Matter come in response to that, and then there was Blue Lives Matter. But see, the problem is that we all have the right, to come up with whatever language, that we want to utter to mean or to convey the meaning that we intend for it to mean. We all have that right. So, in speaking these utterances, right, should you be, judged as harshly as we were judging one another? Should we be physically harmed for some of the things that we say to one another? And when I say some, I mean some of the things, right? Not everything's fighting words. You could go down some pipeline and create bullshit out of anything that somebody says. I mean, honestly. But what we're lacking here in our country nowadays is the ability to hear each other, understand each other's point, first and foremost, because a lot of us, we're educated, but ignorant as hell. I'm gonna put that out there. Ignorant as hell if you get agitated by words coming out of someone's mouth. Okay, I used to, right? Because I won't get into that. That's another conversation. But these words that we get so offended by, instead of being so offended by these words, why don't we take the time to consider what our opponent, for lack of a better word, is saying? Barack Obama came out and spoke against Joe Biden's, or not directly against Joe Biden. The interview I heard, he didn't speak directly against Joe Biden, but he was speaking against the demonization of the opposing side. And I was watching Fox News, and they showed a clip of Biden on the podium, and he was, these Trump supporters are the, how do you say the enemy, but he used some type of term that was, I guess less than pleasant in regards to those individuals. And again, you got somebody wearing a Make America Great Again. I know people that voted for Trump personally, you know what I'm saying, black and white. And a lot of the black ones, they're not going to just say that, but I know people that have done it, or that did, both terms. I know people that, that like white people that the same, that voted Trump. And do I think these are bad people? Nah, I don't. And it's funny because a lot of people want to immediately link someone to some type of sinister intent, right? It's funny because if the role was reversed, let's just say, all right, let's say you were right, okay, and the people that support Trump, let's say Trump is actually, as sinister and diabolical as everyone claims him to be, yada this, yada that. Let's just say, right, okay, which I have no evidence to support that he is, but let's just say, okay, and then the people that support him, I guess, are deemed at that time as villainous as he is, right? That's the logical conclusion that some people come to. But see, that's not the conclusion I come to. First things first, when I notice that anybody's doing anything that I find questionable, the first thing I do is I try to ascertain on a personal level, if I'm going to react to whatever they're doing, I want to make sure that I know that that person realizes what they're doing, so they're not ignorant to the entire schematic, right? So they know the ins and outs of the policies. They know what the policies will mean for other people, right? They have the ability to empathize with those individuals, but then even though they can understand all of the damage that the policies will cause, they go against, and they vote in their best interest, in their self-interest. That's what I would call selfishness, ultimately, right? However, what makes them less evil is when they say, well, you know what? I don't see how that policy is going to help anyone. In fact, I believe it might be harming you more so than it's helping you. I'd actually say they're voting in our interest at that time. Or I think I understand the policy from what I can see, from what I can tell, X, Y, Z. You know what I'm saying? Z. I've been watching too many of these kids programs from Great Britain. Anyway, X, Y, Z. Y'all know what I'm saying? And it's the same on the other side. I hear a lot of things come from the left. And when I hear them, I'm like, that don't make any damn fucking sense. That don't make any sense. That don't make any sense at all. But it still gets uttered. Oh Lord, the defund the police, right? When I first heard it, if I listen to the words, it says defund the police. The first thing I think is, wait, so we just not gonna have cops? That's the first thing I thought. Second thing was, well, hey, now this is what we mean. We mean to fund them less aggressively, right? Put money in the hands of people that could more properly handle nonviolent situations, right? Or situations that don't require armed gunmen on scene, right? I don't know, car accidents, maybe, domestic disputes, perhaps. I don't know. You know what I'm saying? You name it, whatever. So I kind of understood what was being said. However, a lot of people didn't understand that. A lot of people actually thought defund the police meant something else. They thought it meant, let's down with the police force altogether, remove them. To those people, I would say you would want the same respect. You would want the same respect that you're not giving to the other side, somebody could just as easily call you evil. You want to dismantle the police force, so then what do you want to do? You want to create a state of anarchy? You've been watching too many movies. You've been watching too much Hollywood. You looked at that, what was that film? The Purge. That's what you want America to be like. Yeah, you want lawlessness, right? You want corruption, right? They can say the same thing about you guys. You got to watch that. See, at this time politically, I sit right here in the middle. I've been that way for a while. I actually lean more right than left. Left side, you tripping. I ain't gonna lie, all this cancel culture is too much for me. All this cancel, I can't live like that. We can't live in a world where we can't speak to one another. Y'all are crazy. And it's getting worse and worse. It's funny because it seems like people on the right at this time are more accepting and understanding of different ideas than anything. I've been, case in point, y'all probably, at this time, if you've seen any of my videos, you've realized at this point, I'm not religious. That being said, I've gotten more shit from people that vote Democratic about my religion than I have on the Republican side of things. At least on the Republican side of things, if they have a problem with the fact that I don't believe in something that they believe in, they don't speak it to me. At least they keep it quiet. We handle business, do what we gotta do, and we move on about our lives and go on about our day. We can help each other. If we can't, then we go on separate ways. But on the other side, it's always seeming like on the left they want to sit there and try to. And I'm just being objective here. It is. And I voted Democratic. I voted Barack Obama twice. I didn't vote Hillary. I couldn't do it. I voted Gary Johnson. That was an independent. But I've been there. I've been on the left, you know. But at this time, I gotta slap y'all on the wrist just the same as I would the right. I mean, y'all are actually, it's funny, but y'all are the ones that are, what's the word for uninclusive, ununderstanding. A lot of times I see a professor, I watch a guy online that I talked about in one of my other videos, but in case I didn't, anyway, he's a professor that goes to college campuses or anywhere, just in public. He draws several lines on the ground, and each line represents a space between somewhat disagree strongly disagree and strongly agree, and you know how that works. And then right there in the middle is I'm neutral about it. He'll ask a question, have 5, 6 people stand on these lines, and then they will discuss between one another why they believe what they believe. Right now, the conversations and the questions are, well, current events and things that American people are currently talking about. Right? You think that was harmless just to publicize and put on the internet or to have a public in a public setting, in a public space, right? Open dialogue like that. You think that would be? You think we would desire that, right? But no. He was on a college campus. I believe it was one of those universities. It was in I want to say Washington. Might have been the University of Seattle. Don't quote me on that. I'm not sure, but I'm pretty positive the video I saw he was in Washington, and they pretty much cussed him out, called him all this and that. You know, hey, you're a bigot, you're this, you're that, and actually they came down and disrupted his whole experiment and told him, hey man, we'd rather you just leave because there's, you know, the question he was posing was I think it was, should women be able to compete in men's sport, or no, excuse me, should transgender women be able to compete in men's sports? I believe that was the question, right? This time, which is I guess if you arguing politically, I mean, I guess you could say that's more a right-wing concept, right? That they should not be allowed, and I guess you could say that, well, he's trying to push a particular narrative. But I mean, he's asking a question, and he's asking a question that could be answered either way. It's not necessarily, the question itself is not, it doesn't seem biased. It's very basic and neutral way to ask that question, right? Yet they were still offended because they felt like just by him asking that, he's making an implication toward the idea that, hey, no, we don't believe that, you know, women should be. No, we're just, this is a pop culture discussion at this time, and it's one that I was interested in, but they broke it up. They broke that up, and they sent him on his way. What was interesting, he ended up getting footage that really depicted how intolerable these leftists are, you know, and can be, and it was interesting. It was interesting. So left, if y'all want us to stop, because there's an exodus from the left. If you haven't noticed, Kevin Samuels put this in perspective for me, but black men ain't going to church. It's pretty much a black woman thing at this time. The majority of us either go away from it, don't attend at all, and the ones that do, well, I guess they're not living exactly by the book. You ladies know what I'm talking about. So I'm just saying, and there's no offense to anybody that does go to church, but I mean, hey, we're leaving. Same thing with the left. Matter of fact, they just I talked about it in one of my other videos. No voting, no vucking, right? They're around here trying to, at this time, shame black men, I guess, for not voting. And I guess the next phase is, if you voted for them, none for you, right? I mean, well, that's for y'all cats, because we good over here. And I'm just saying, like, fellas, I'm going to segue for a split second and just say, y'all got to watch who y'all marry. Because if a woman's acting like that towards you before or after you marry her, that's a problem. But I digress. Anyway, yeah, I mean, left, y'all gotta quit tripping. Cancel culture, man, this ain't it. This ain't the way. The boycott is gonna get taken less seriously at this time. I mean, you gotta imagine the boycott was made for like serious shit, like real events, right? That's what the boycott was created for. We the black people boycotted things because we were mistreated racially. Like, there were racial inequalities happening to us. We were being killed, right? For simply, I don't know, looking at an attractive white woman walk down the street, Emmett Till. Harassed for sitting on the bus, Rosa Parks. Come on, we had reason, and I could name countless others. We had reason to really stand up, but right, have publicized the boycott and turn it into a publicity stunt to virtue signal and push wokeism so that the Democrats can get more votes. And the ones that really should be using the boycott never do. We always say, black people always say, black folks don't ever stand together. We never stand together, right? I was telling my wife, I'm involved in two demographics that ain't gonna stand up for a damn thing, right? Trucking and the black community. Hey, that's just the bottom line. That's the bottom line. We're not gonna stand up for nothing. And it's a shame. They've taken the boycott and they utilize it efficiently. Right? Kanye West lost his deal. I know y'all can't really see me. My eyes been black the whole time. Kanye West lost his deal, man, with Adidas. I don't even think he's got the rights to the shoe. That's how effective they are. That's how effective they are with using our technology, if you will. Right? Using our practice. The boycott is our thing, man. They sitting there using it against us now. They saw how effective it was. So when I got guys out there talking about boycott the NBA, knowing how much men love the NBA, especially black men, support that. Don't laugh at them. Y'all tripping. See, these y'all leaders talking. Y'all want black men to lead? These y'all leaders talking. Support those guys. You got guys out there saying, hey, I'm not buying Adidas, Nike anymore for letting go of Kanye and Kyrie. Support that. These y'all's leaders speaking. Y'all think it's funny. So y'all think it's funny to sit there and, you think it's cute. What is it? You think it's cute to make fun of a black man for standing on what he believes in, for standing on what he believes in? Y'all think that's funny, huh? Nah, that ain't cute. And we see that. We see that, ladies. And fellas, don't be ashamed to stand for what you believe in, man. Some of these guys saying, they're not gonna watch the NBA. That's easy for me. I was saying it on Facebook today. Easy. I don't watch sports like that anyway. I could care less. I could care less about paying for the Sunday ticket. I can care less for the sports package, the ESPN and all that kind of stuff. It costs too damn much anyway. Then you're gonna pay for that shit, and then you sit there, you buy that, Now you're gonna sit there and fill their pockets. You want to buy paraphernalia, t-shirts, and all that kind of nonsense. You're gonna buy the video games. Hey, y'all keep funding that, and we're gonna keep getting the same behavior. Kaepernick, man, no, we didn't support the guy. Boycott the NFL. Again, for me, easy. You know who's not doing that shit? Fortunately for me, none of the video game manufacturers. That's where I live. You know, none of the musicians. Hey, that's where I live. You know what I'm saying? None of the guitar manufacturers or anything like that. Hey, I you know, but and I understand it'd be hard if somehow, you know, this cancel culture and everything made its way to my industry. But I'd have to do what I had to do. Be honest with you, I had to do what I had to do. I've shut down shit for less. I once got off Facebook. I got off, y'all might remember, I got off Facebook for like 6-8 months at one point. You know what I was pissed off about? I was mad because they decided to put the ads right slap dab in the middle of a video. You'll be watching a good video and they'll put a 15-second mandatory ad right in the middle. Force you to watch that. I decided I wasn't going to use Facebook no more. I decided that was too much, right? Not only do I have to, because I mean, you know, normally you got a 15-second clip. They'll shorten it to like 3 to 5 seconds where you can skip it if you want to, or they'll force you to watch at the beginning of it. But I don't like when they play with human psychology in the way that they did it with that. Get you involved in the video and right dab in the middle, boom. And it's not like it's a 30-minute, we're not talking about a 30-minute video. We're talking about a video that's only like 30 seconds, 40 seconds long, 2 minutes. And they put one right there in the middle on you. This doesn't require a commercial break. Wait until you get interested. Now, you're going to have to watch it because you want to see the end of the video. And that's how they got you. And I feel like that was just, you know, there's a little, it's at a certain point, it's just too much, right? At a certain point, you're just doing too much, right? At a certain point, even for me, shit gets too sinister, man, too diabolical. You know what I'm saying? You know, you can't play with human psyche. Anyway, so when the guys say they want to boycott the NBA, I know it's hard. But if they're going to do it, then y'all need to stand together and get that done. I don't necessarily agree with Kanye. I'm not saying I don't agree with him, but he's got the right to speak. I'm not saying I agree with Kaepernick. I'm not saying I do. I'm not saying I don't. But he's got the right to kneel, right? He's got the right to speak. Same thing with Kyrie. And the NFL and the NBA, they do have the right, because they are private entities. So under the law, they have the right to let these guys go, as what they're doing is hurting their brand. However, we have to change the flow of money that we control. Make it hurt their pockets when they act this way, as opposed to when they stand idle and do nothing. Who you think watch more basketball? Jewish people or black folks? So, who is it really harming when Kanye says something like this? It's not really hurting the NBA. It's not really hurting anybody that's involved with sports. The majority of people in the NBA are white Christians or black Christians. Ain't no Jews in there. I don't care whether you're native, whether it's religion or if it's your DNA. There's no Jews unless you believe what Kanye is saying. There's no Jews. Most of them are white Christians or black men. Same thing with the NFL. So to punish a black man for speaking in that way, you just don't want him to speak because it's not really hurting your dollar. It's not hurting your bottom line. How many black people do you think gave a damn what Kyrie said? Right? How many black people do you really think gave a damn what Kanye said? You know who's out here doing all the yabbering? Social justice white folks. That's really who's doing this. That's the demographic of people that are outraged about everything going on right now. And they're not Jewish. That's what I'm saying. So it doesn't affect the NBA's bottom line. Because whoever that message was targeted toward ain't buying all the tickets any damn way. It's us. Now they doing that shit because they know they can get away with it. They doing it, and it almost, well, it does this. It signals that what these brothers are saying is actually true. You can't even argue it's hurting their bottom line this time. For Kaepernick, when Kaepernick kneeled, you could have argued it was hurting the bottom line for the NFL. 60% of men in the NFL are black. The other 40% are everything else. Is roughly the statistic, right? So you could argue that, honestly, more white people, even though we are 60%. Let's just say, okay, even though black men are 60% of the NFL, I don't believe that accurately represents the ones that watch the program. I would argue that it's probably more white folks. So you could argue that when Kaepernick kneeled, it pissed a lot of white folks off, and that's where the money was coming from, the revenue for the NFL. So they canceled it. But in this case, how can you really say that? There's a small demographic that gave a damn what they said. A small demographic. You're almost telling on yourself. But anyway, y'all go ahead and cancel those fellas if you want to. I'm not. I stand in support of the First Amendment first and foremost, and secondly, if what they're saying is, if it's factual, it's factual. It just is what it is. I stand for truth. I stand for reason. Yeah, I'm not with this whole social justice shit. So, average guys, man, hear me out, dog. If you back this type of message, man, if you feel where I'm coming from, first of all, like and subscribe all day. Second of all, man, boycott shit. Start standing together on these issues, man. Cause I'm sick and damn tired of folks telling us what the hell to do when we pull all the damn weight in the country. The average guys, we pull all the weight in the damn country. I'm tired. I'm sick of getting pawned and played with. It's not right. Hang in there, fellas. Y'all be easy.